So, hello and welcome everyone to Actual Plays stream of Blade 68 by Tim Dene, the guy right down there. This is going to be a three-part series of on Actual Play where we're going to play with the playtest rules for Blade 68, and we'll tell you. I'm going to let Tim tell you what all that is about. I'm Sean. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be hosting for tonight. And let's go around the corner, ending with Tim doing our introductions. So, Mo, tell us about yourself.
Oh, hey, I'm Mo. My friends with they, face, she. I'm excited to be here. I love Blades. I love 60s pop art sort of like style. So seeing the two come together, I'm so excited to be here. So thanks for the invite. And I can't wait to see what beautiful, weird heist we get into. Karen.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Karen. I'm just excited to be here. I'm really been loving the playtest that we've been doing already, and the vibe has been really fun. So I can't wait to make some new characters.
Awesome. And kia ora, everybody. I'm Tim. I use he, him pronouns, and I kind of designed and wrote this game. And I guess to kick us off, I kind of felt like just on the off chance you're watching this and you're not already familiar, I'll give like a one-sentence summary of what Blades is. Blades in the Dark, the original.
Sounds smart.
Which is to say it's a game by the amazing John Harper. Shout outs to John. About a crew of scoundrels in the city of Duskfall. It's a world where the sun was destroyed in a cataclysm hundreds of years ago. And so it's kind of eternal night. Oh, there it is. Nice. Special edition. Haunted by ghosts, demons. It's 19th century industrial fantasy, criminals doing heists and stuff. And it's awesome. So Blade 68 is that same setting, but 100 years in the future, in the year 968. So it's kind of a 60s, 70s thing. To read from the book, today, superstition is a thing of the past. This is the age of consensus. It's a time of science, rationality, conformity, consumerism, and peace, or at least it was. The horrors of the past may be buried, but only under a thin layer of soil. Progress is here, but only for some. War may be over, but the shadowy game of espionage has never been more heated. Discontent bubbles under the surface and threatens to erupt at any time, in any place. You're a scoundrel, a chancer, a troublemaker. You know the streets and you're not afraid of danger. So that's kind of the thing. It's sort of very similar premise to Blades in that you're a scrappy crew of scoundrel criminals building a little empire, but it's in more of a 60s, 70s kind of thing. The other thing I'd like to mention up top is just this idea that so the city of Duskfall is in a bubble, and the bubble is tuned by this thing called the blue array that creates daylight every day. Blue skies, hence the name, the blue. Yeah, quote unquote daylight. And then when it's turned on and turned off, it kind of creates these like psychedelic sort of twilight colors. But basically, yeah, it's Blades, but there's sort of daylight. It's Blades and Technicolor is kind of the thing. So that's sort of the premise. We had done some lines and veils beforehand, so we won't do that here. So I guess we can just get into character creation.
Yeah.
So Sean and Karen have
Diving straight in. I love it.
I
was just saying, diving straight in. Just let's do this. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sean and Karen have made characters ahead of time, so we'll get into those in a second. But maybe if we start with Mo.
We're here. We're doing it.
So yeah, let's make this character from scratch.
All right.
Now you've already chosen a playbook, but just to go over them, the options are there's 8 playbooks, and they are the veteran, who's a sort of ex-military veteran, violent type with scars from their past. The hound, a hound who's a sort of hard-bitten fixer, kind of noir sort. Hounds have been around for a long time. There were hounds in original Blades, and that's still a profession. A little bit different now. Intellectuals, sort of polymaths, and they're both scientists and engineers, but also kind of philosophers and thinkers. Radicals, political radicals who are good at blowing stuff up, but also good at poetry and caring about a cause and stuff like that. Swingers are good at social situations and improvising, and they sort of live fast and have fun. Operatives, kind of espionage professional, good at sneaking around and tricking people and breaking into places. Paranormalists, just good at paranormal stuff, really. The weird and supernatural. And then finally, there are Hulls, which were one of the paranormal playbooks in original Blades, but they're a core playbook in Blades 68. And they are basically a human soul powering a robot body. And they're a bit different to the others because they start without any memory of who they once were. And they discover that through play. So it's kind of fun.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, everybody loves a sad robot. I mean, come on. Especially a sad robot who's getting their memories back.
Yeah.
So those are the 8. What are you thinking, Mo?
So as soon as I read it, I had to do it. It's the swinger, just because I don't know. And then I was reading the moves, and it's saying "Yeah, baby" as one of the moves. I'm like, "This is it. I have to choose this one and play it." Just very awesome powers, and it's just so fitting in the center.
Yeah, I love it. Austin Powers is the sort of forbidden touchstone of Blade 68.
Oh, it's gotta. It's gotta
be. Yeah, 100%. Great. That is great. Okay, so you got a swinger. So the first step is to choose your heritage. They are the same as Blades. So we've got Ekaros, which is where Doskvol is. In the Dagger Isles, Eruvia, Severos. Skovlin is now known as the USC, the United Scove Covenant. And then there's Tykeros, which is kind of the weird, is it another place or time? Strange people with strange features kind of heritage. But what are you leaning towards?
I was thinking that because I was reading through the history of it, and by the way, if y'all have not flicked through the history yet, it's kind of cool of like how it goes, of like how in the 40s there was like a third war or something that was going on, and it was happening in the Dagger Isles, and typically I just love playing like characters from the Dagger Isles just because it feels like it's more like my speed and my own background. I love reflecting that. At least that's how I design it, because I know like in the setting wise it's going to be more Southeast Asian, but for me I always think like Central America, South America sort of styles. But so like I was loving that, and I seen that war, and I was thinking like having this character not from the Dagger Isles, but her mother's from the Dagger Isles, like escaping that war, probably marrying like someone that was an Akros military, probably like a lieutenant or someone, I don't know ranks, but someone, yeah, so that sounds like a rank. And then moving to Akros. So like, I guess I don't know exactly. Maybe a mix of both. But if I had to choose one, maybe the Dagger Isles. Like,
I mean, the whole heritage blurb, right? You know, the little field is for you to sort of fill in that detail. So I mean, I think that's great. You know, daughter of a Daggerite and
so both.
Both. That's perfect. I love it. You can summarize that for yourself in that field however you want to, but yeah, I love that. So the next thing is to choose a background, which is your character's personal background before they became a criminal, essentially, or maybe criminal is one of the backgrounds, but so the options here are sort of academic, labor, which could include factory workers, dock workers, but also service workers, waiter, short order cook, things like that. Trade, like a plumber or a mechanic or a shopkeeper. Military, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. Professional, kind of a white-collar worker of some sort. Aristocrat or underworld. Do you have a feeling about those?
I was thinking, because I was gonna make her probably like a little on the younger side, like early to mid 20s, and so maybe academic because she was a student. Maybe she got forced to go to college.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, screw that. I just want to live life loud.
Mean, what is college for but partying and doing drugs,
exactly.
Right?
Like, studying?
Yeah.
Being a nerd? No, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's great. And the student angle is a great tie into 60s stuff.
There's all sorts of student
protests and like drugs and like free love. Yeah,
exactly. Counterculture. Yeah, it's all there.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So for
my character, as we'll get into in a moment, like never got to like instead of going instead of like going to school, went into the military, and so that'll be fun tension. We're gonna have multiple bits of fun tension, I think.
I'm excited.
Great. Yeah. So you got that under background.
Mhm.
So the next step, you start with some dots already. So you've got 2 dots in sway and 1 in finesse. So you assign 4 more. The idea is to put 1 dot in any action you feel reflects your heritage, then 1 dot in any action that you feel reflects your background, so the academics, and then 2 more wherever you want. And nothing can go above 2 to begin with.
Perfect. Okay, so I think because academic can go study, 1 in study.
Perfect.
Tiger Owls, Cruise. I don't really know when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean,
consort is like consort again is so sway is like persuasion, command is like commanding. Consort is just like I think it's like being on a familiar ground, right? Is like
friendliness. Yeah.
Yeah, I think consort would be really good for one of those.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially in a multicultural family and connecting with people. From
Actually, let's make that 2. So then I'll have 1 left over, and I'm gonna put that 1 in. Let's do prowl. Maybe I've snuck in out a couple windows before. You know.
Yeah. Prowl is an all-purpose good action to have.
Yeah.
Just for running around.
I agree. It's very Blades in the Dark, isn't it?
Very Blades, yeah.
Yeah, you know, or you're just a teenager who just needs to go out and have fun and get sneaking out a window.
Yeah, it's a fine line between that and being a criminal.
It's semantics.
We ran a 3-year campaign of Blades set around academics just trying to pay their student debt.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah.
We turned into a pretty scary cult at the end.
Oh, I don't love that.
We were a major crime syndicate. It was bad. Bad things happened.
I mean, you guys were awesome.
People.
Yeah.
We're like, we got to get that research grant no matter what. And if that means kidnapping a politician, that's what we're going to do.
I mean, you were smugglers and they smuggled Okay. That was that. It was, just to say,
let me tell you about
crime go hand to hand. It's
love it. Next one is choose a special ability. So if you scroll down on the sheet there are I think 8 special abilities. You can also choose the versatile, so you can choose across any playbook. So you don't have to be just those, but for the purposes of choosing one.
Yeah, let's stick with one of these. Oh man.
I mean,
so
if you're
good.
drawn towards baby, it's a
I think so. I think I have to do baby. Like, and I'd say like that every single time.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's in the rules. Yeah.
It's in the rules, guys. Y'all know this now. You gotta say it like Austin Powers. Yeah, baby.
Perfect. Let's put that ability in the chat.
I'll read out loud as well. When you agree to an NPC's proposal, even though it complicates or counters the crew's goals, everyone else on the crew marks 1 XP while you clear 3 stress.
Love that.
So
it's a great way it's a great way for you to justify being an absolute shit. And
I apologize for nothing in advance.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We all
next step is to choose 1 close friend and one rival off that list of
where's that list? Here it is on the side. Okay. Yep. So we have Rebel, a drug dealer, 3 Fingers, a lounge singer. Isn't 3 Fingers like one of the ones in Blades as well? Or
I don't think so.
It might be I don't know. It stuck out to me for some reason. I thought it was. Maybe it's somewhere else. Noel Byrne, a politician, Una Bell, a socialite, and Honest Steph, an autopod mechanic. I think I'm going to have a good relations with. Is it a politician because my dad, or a socialite because my dad?
That's a fun one to pick. One is a plus and the other one is a minus, maybe.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say plus to the socialite and then minus to the politician.
Yeah, love it. It's gotta be a reason we're doing crime, right?
Yeah. Okay, so like maybe he likes my dad, but he's like, you're a child. You're absolutely
okay. So it's more like a disapproving sort of.
It could be worse. Maybe it is worse. Who knows?
Is your dad still in the military? Yeah, okay, right.
Probably not in the. Yeah, let's go with that. He's probably still like maybe he's like on the brink of retirement.
Yeah, there's a big military base in the city, so he could be
Yeah.
You can
could be hanging out there, and obviously connected to politicians and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mo, if you were looking for names, I mean, you obviously can grab any name that you like, but page 42 of the Blades book has some good Bladesy names, Blade 68 names.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So I did choose a family name on there. But
Nice.
I didn't choose one of the actual names because I'm going to more of a flavored for an actual name. So I was thinking Katarina Bowman,
Love
but
it.
she goes by Kitty.
Nice.
Love it.
Love it.
Bowman is actually the name of a palace agent, so that could be
Who could say?
coincidence. There's nobody playing the operative who has Bowman as a contact, but maybe you're tangled up in the palace too. Maybe not. Maybe that's just
Who
coincidence.
knows?
Maybe there's just a family of Bowmans, some are in the military and some are
Yeah,
in
maybe it's like an uncle or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Love it.
Great. And the socialite, is that just a friend, do you think? Or
oh yeah, she's my friend.
yeah. She's your friend.
She's my friend. Nope, the politician's my dad's friend.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
No.
That is great. Okay, next is choose your vice.
Oh, is partying just a vice? Can I just
It
do
is.
Absolutely.
Fucked up is vice.
Hey, I like that. Let's do that.
It could also be pleasure.
It could
just
also be pleasure. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It
depends if it's like,
partying
are you
or do
getting
like going to
wasted?
Access?
Pleasure. I think it's more pleasure than getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Where do I write that? Do I just highlight it?
Right above it, there's a little you can click.
Oh,
on
there it
the
is.
photo
Okay,
of it.
I see it now.
Yeah.
So you need a vice purveyor, someone you
right.
go
Let me
to.
There's a
indulge
few
vice.
people.
Yeah, on the next
If
the
it's
next
if
page
it's interesting
there.
to you, my vice is getting fucked up, and their list of purveyors is the same, and my purveyor is I don't know why I'm not seeing them.
My vice is also getting fucked up.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, so mine is
Team.
the Silver Echoes Groove Factory because I just thought that was too fucking cool not to do. Karen, who's your purveyor?
I had pulled one from the book, which was Caro Cake Danfield at Iron Weightlifting. I'm imagining that my character likes to go, but I was imagining more like a boxing gym.
Perfect.
She's super into boxing and like working out. So that is where she blows off steam.
Nice.
So hers is getting physically fucked up. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a character like that. I understand. In regular Blades. Well, her original vice was family because she came from a large family, and then like eventually as time went on, it went to like fighting as her
Pit fighting. Yeah.
pit fighting. Yeah. Oh god, what is? I didn't see anything on the Groove Factor, so I guess this is kind of like just us filling in the blank here. So I love that. I think.
So I imagine, it's like a popular nightclub. So if that, that could be a point of connection potentially if you both frequent the same. But you could choose something different if you want.
I'm just reading through the list real quick. Smoking room now. Brothel.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the most like sort of party nightclub kind of place.
Yeah. So the Silver Echoes.
Cool.
Is it called the Silver Echoes, or is it called the Groove Factory, or just...
the Groove Factory is the nightclub? The Silver Echoes are actually sort of the band, the particular band who plays
that's
there.
your particular contact.
Okay.
Yeah. Specifically, they're kind of like a sort of Beatles stand-in. Like there's kind of a Beatlemania that the older people don't trust around that particular band.
Okay.
So you can put that in that. There you go. Perfect.
I did.
You got it. Nice.
Nice. And then next is name, alias, look, and wearing. So we've got your name and alias, I think. Do you have a kind of
Kitty
look and vibe? Yeah.
Look. Oh, let's see here.
We can come back to that if you want to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have like an idea. I'm just trying to put it into words.
Yeah.
Basically, my face cast is gonna be Raquel Welch from like the 60s and 70s, like in her. Like, yeah, I don't know if you'll know. I'll put a photo in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was like one of. one of the hot like model actress ladies from the 60s and 70s.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a good swinger.
We could go about introducing Karen's and Maya's characters, and then kind of finish off if you wanted. If you've got your look.
Yeah,
give you a second or two.
Yeah, perfect. Do you want to do that then, Sean? Do you want to tell us about your?
Yeah, sure. Let me pull up being I'm playing Hollis. He is a veteran of the Dagger Isles occupation. So definitely some tension and or history with I think before the stream, Mo, you and I were talking about Hollis probably knows your dad. Maybe they served together in the Dagger Isles. He's got real like most veterans, real reservations about what he did in the name of in service. So Hollis, just going through the same things quickly. He was a mechanic in New Horizons before joining the military, and is an Akarosi. And his tour, instead of having a background, I have a tour of duty, which is Dagger Isle peacekeeping. During that, he stepped on an incendiary device and lost his legs below the knee, and so he's got Spark Tech kind of secondhand sparking and not always working perfectly. Spark Tech leg blades to help with that. That's actually a part of the mechanic of the game, is that the veteran has some damage that they have from the war. It can be physical, it can be psychological, and they have something that helps as well. And so that's what I've taken. Hollis was a combat medic. He still he still talks to and thinks about Darrow and Mayburn, the two soldiers that he was not able to save. Their resonance echoes are still in his mind, if not present. I'm not sure. We'll find out. And so I did the thing where I took the versatile move and I took anatomist off of the intellectuals playbook, which is the ability to patch people back up and put them together and to study dead bodies.
Sean, I have a question. You're starting with 2 special abilities? I thought
that's a cool veteran thing. The veterans start with military discipline automatically and 1 more special ability.
And they get 1 more dot.
Is that why you also have an extra action die?
It is why I also have an extra action die and why I have a deadlocked key. We haven't talked about keys yet.
Fancy.
Well, yeah. So veterans, as their name sort of implies, are characters that have in Blades in the dark, when you're when you fill up on stress, you get trauma. But in Blade 68, when you fill up on stress, one of your keys, which is the defining things about your character, gets deadlocked, and it changes into usually a more amplified or inverted version of it. And so my key used to be protective, but after losing people, I've become cold. People die. Shit happens. You can either spend your whole life beating yourself up about it, or just accept that that's the fact of life.
So as an example, that could have also been intensified when it deadlocked. So it might have become like obsessively protective or something.
Exactly.
Some more pithy version of that. But
so I kind of had to pick. And if you scroll to the bottom of the character sheet, there's example keys as well as example deadlocks. So I took protective, and the kind of versions of that were cold or vengeful. And I thought, cold sounds like fun.
And you don't have to use those suggestions, but just some ideas. Also, we're saying this game is playtesting. I just realized keys should be on the character creation steps, and we forgot to do them with Mo.
Oh yeah, well we'll come back to Mo and do.
Keys.
Yeah. I guess the thing to say about keys is you can have up to 4, but you don't need to start with 4. And actually, I usually recommend starting with like between 1 and 3, and leave 1 open as you sort of feel out the character. And but also you can totally change them basically any time before they deadlock. You can change them around if you feel like it's common that you make a character, and then once you start playing them, you get a better sense of exactly who they are. So Yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about those, but
Yeah. Before hearing about Mo or Karen's characters, I just thought Hollis is tired. He's a worn individual. But I might change that based on y'all's characters. Might have something, either add another key or change that up. But yes, I took, based off my heritage, I took wrench as a mechanic. And after my Dagger Isles peacekeeping, I took prowl dot there, and then I just doubled down on those. And so with my other 2 dots, I just put another dot in wrench and another dot in prowl. And Hollis was very unimaginatively called Bones as a Sawbones by his fellow soldiers. I think mostly it's other vets that call him Bones now, but it's certainly a name he's used to responding to. Most of the time he just goes by Hollis, which is his last name because no one's ever called him his first name. Who knows what Hollis's first name is, because
mystery.
He just always goes by Hollis. That's all anyone ever calls him. My vice is also going to the Silver Echoes Groove Factory, but it's to reach oblivion. Hollis does like to dance and does like to do it on the. He's really tried to reintegrate. He has. I said turtlenecks, but as Sean, I actually own a bunch of scarves, so I'm going to change that up so that he wears a bunch of scarves and tight jeans, and goes and dances and gets really high on whatever is available and tries to be a normal person, because that's what normal people do. They get fucked up on dance floors, right?
What kind of age range is Hollis?
I think Hollis is probably 40s, so maybe too old to be doing this, but
As you like to tell us all the time.
What? Oh, I'm too old for this? Is that?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. Hollis is not going to hook up with people. He's definitely going to. I mean, he's social, but he's not like prowling. He's just going to.
Yeah, I mean, he's cold, right? That's his deadlock. So
Exactly. And let's see. My close contact is Striptee, a hit woman that I met. That I met after coming back, and she's helped given me some jobs in the past. She's sort of pointed me in the direction of ways that I could kind of make do, because the Crown veteran support is shitty, and there's not a lot of support. There's an own faction that's actually built up around veterans supporting each other. Hollis doesn't really feel comfortable with them. Whenever he sees other veterans, he just thinks of the people he let die. So he doesn't tend to socialize with vets that often. But Triptych, so he needed other places of support, thus turning to crime. Triptych has given him offers. And
so has he been out here doing hits or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. And Fellows is another officer. Mo, do you want that to be your dad? Do you want my bad contact to be your dad?
That's your rival, right? That's right.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. What's his name? What do you call him?
I mean, his name is Fellows, but I can just
you can change it. Yeah,
I can change his name. He's an army official. I could make it be your dad's name.
We kind of have to.
I kind of wanna. Yeah.
I kind of love that.
What does your dad also just goes by his last name? Should I say Bowman?
I think Bowman. If you want a first name, let me poke at the
Yeah,
list real quick.
if you have it, that's fine. But I would just call him Bowman, Lieutenant Bowman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I think I served with Lieutenant Bowman, and not all of us came back, and he, like me, blames me for it.
Was he your CEO, your commanding officer? Or
yeah.
His first name's Archie.
Archie. Never will I call him Archie, but I mean, but you're his daughter, so you know.
I might call him Archie.
Knock yourself out. Yeah.
Especially when I'm mad at him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's
Great. Just because I didn't hit it before, so with keys, you can hit those once per session for XP, and all you have to do is just kind of point to it, just like say, that was me hitting my key, or I want to hit my key here, or however you want to do it. So get XP for it once per session. Obviously, you can keep portraying those keys, but you just get the XP once. When you do, you mark the little pill next to it, and you put 1 XP wherever you want. When you run out of stress, much like trauma and blades, as Sean's veterans helpfully already got, that it becomes deadlocked. So you lose that key and it becomes either the opposite or an intensification, as we talked about before. And at that point, you can also get XP for that, much like trauma and blades. So when if you make it a problem for yourself, you get XP for that at the end of the session.
Yeah. I think that's what I got for Hollis. He's played by an actor whose name I just forgot, Anthony James. He's portrayed by.
Great.
Sorry,
Cool.
I pressed the button. I didn't mean to put that thing in the chat.
What's that?
I pressed a button. I put something in the chat. I didn't.
Oh, that's fine. Cool.
I was like, what does that button do? Click.
Anthony James is one of those names it's impossible to remember. Just 2 first names.
Yeah. I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could have. But all right, Karen, you want to walk us through Cross?
Cool. Yeah, Eva Cross just goes by Cross. I was imagining that she used to be a journalist and now kind of went into the private detective route and now does crime. So things are going great in her life. It's all uphill. I don't have like a huge feel for her as a character. I just took the key sardonic to start with. So I felt like that was a good attitude. The special ability I took was dogged persistence, just because it's also something that I feel like immediately can be used, like, in our game, since I don't think that we're going to really be like able to get a ton of XP and like grab other moves. She has 0 sense of humor. It's pretty much the vibe.
Is she hilarious because of that?
I mean, I'm not going to try. She's I pulled a photo of Kate Jackson. I don't know if this particular photo is from Charlie's Angels or from another show she did at that time, but it looked kind of badass. She often wears like those kind of high-waisted sailor pants, and I imagined her with like a denim trench coat, just like it's like a long denim coat.
It's such a good look, though.
Yeah, like a belted trench coat.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
Oh, that's very good.
She's Skovlin, but I think like a couple generations back.
Great.
I feel like somehow that has something to do with why she's not a journalist anymore.
I mean, if it's a tied to her, her ethnicity or background, like technically Skovlin and Akros are not at war, but there's a lot of like tension between them. She might not be trusted and sensitive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it's not so much that she's not trusted. I think that she did. She probably ran her mouth off and got fired. But yeah, I think it was involved in that and having some heated opinions of current affairs. But it's been a few years since she's been a journalist. I don't know which. I should have looked up like what like newspapers there were. So I don't know which one she used to work at.
Is it more tabloidy or more legit?
I think it was legit news.
Okay, I don't have any legit newspaper names, but I've got a bunch of tabloid names.
And she had taken her job very seriously. So, and then she was doing like private eye stuff, and now she's fallen into more crime and spends all of her time at the boxing gym, punching and being punched. Her shady friends is she has Hendrik, a veterinarian, Definitely, like, always good to have a veterinarian who can stitch up wounds and not ask questions and give you prescriptions
Yeah, perfect.
with even fewer questions. And then I picked for the downtick, Zam, a street kid. I just love the idea of this, like,
Just a child.
annoying little kid being like, "Hey."
Is this like an I want my $2 situation? Like,
I imagine it being something where it's like the kid is not being having like a ton of animosity, but like they like follow her around, get in trouble, like are generally there when they're not supposed to be there. The kid like lives in her building or something, and
Perfect.
she hates this child. She does
Right.
not like this kid. The kid maybe, I feel like maybe looks up to Cross,
Got it.
but it is definitely like not a fun relationship for Cross. She does not like it.
Perfect. How do you know the veterinarian, Hendrik?
That's well, because she has a pet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
right.
because Hound has a loyal, clever pet.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I was imagining a giant dog, just a
Love it.
huge Great Dane
Oh my god, a baby.
of an animal. Like his head comes up to her shoulder, kind of.
Wow.
Just big old fucking dog. Yeah. And that like the weird pet abilities are pretty cool.
Yeah. What pet abilities does your giant dog have?
It's on page 51 and 52 of the playtest book. So it says your pet is imbued with an anomalous resonance, so it gains potency when tracking or fighting the paranormal, and gains a paranormal ability. And then it acts as a cohort, and then they have potency on like paranormal targets.
Nice. Which paranormal abilities you pick?
Now that is a special ability, so you would have to take. It's on your sheet. It's called Echo Pet
Oh yeah.
or something.
So it's not there yet, but like
It's not there yet.
we're gonna get
it.
there.
We're gonna get there, right? You have the pet already. I don't know
Yeah.
why it's not showing up on your special abilities.
Yeah, it's not there.
Huh.
Oh, the Echo Pet. Yeah.
Yeah,
So not
really.
yet.
Oh,
It hasn't fallen into the vat of weird acid yet to get
Right.
magical timey-wimey powers. But yeah, it's called Echo Pet. So, but things for the future that I will heavily foreshadow if I can.
Does your dog have a name?
I don't have a name for the dog yet. I'll have to think about it.
Great.
nice.
Cool. Is that everything?
Should we come back to Mo for keys or keys and look and all that jazz, or anything else?
Yes.
I am ready for looks. I have no idea about keys. I don't know where to like look for keys and all that, so you have to like walk me through that.
Yeah, let's do. So if you scroll down right to the bottom of the sheet, there's
Okay.
some little purple text with a bunch of keys. Those are kind of relevant to that playbook.
Marking XP? Oh, down at the bottom. Okay.
Underneath, yeah.
Oh, it
little,
looks like a
text.
little like movie trailer thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I was not looking at it.
Do you see that ODG logo right there? Old Dog Games.
Oh, how cool! Hold
Yeah.
on. We're
Very
busy
cool. Little
admiring.
details.
Second.
Tim's little details are delightful.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay.
So you don't have to pick off that list, but that there's probably some good ideas in there.
I'm very flamboyant.
Yeah, I mean you can start with that.
How do
Like I said, you don't have to pick like 4. You could just pick 1 or 2 to begin with.
How do I click it? Do I type in notes?
You just have to type it in
here.
manually. Yeah.
Okay. Keys. I think I'm gonna go with flamboyant. Oh, you're gonna love me so much. When it means demure or self-obsessed, like what is that like?
So that's if you run out of stress and you choose to deadlock that key. So it could go up or down, basically. At that point, it's like a crisis point, and that key either flips and becomes the reverse, or it intensifies and becomes... Either way, it's like an impediment to your continuing as a criminal.
Yeah.
So for flamboyant, if you reached a crisis point and that key became deadlocked, What were the two options there? Sorry, I don't have them in front of me.
Demure and
self-obsessed.
self-obsessed.
Yeah, so those are just two examples, but and you're no longer flamboyant because of some crisis situation. Maybe you become like, inhibited or demure or the opposite of flamboyant. Or maybe you go all in and it becomes like a super intense version that gets you into trouble because you're self-obsessed or so flamboyant. It's a problem.
Yeah. Also,
So it could go either way, depending on how you feel. And you don't have to choose those two examples. You could deadlock it in a different way.
Okay, so I think I can't. It's up to 4, but I don't have to choose. I don't have to choose 4. Is that right?
Right. One or two is a great place to start.
Okay,
You can
because
always add more too. Like in the middle of the game, you can be like, "Oh, I think I'm blah." Unless
I'll leave space for one more because I think flamboyant, reckless, and playful are like very like on point for her.
Oh yeah,
perfect.
Love it. Yeah, so you can put those in here.
Where are you clicking? I'm not looking at yours. I'm looking at that. Okay.
Oh, sorry. If you scroll back up, right underneath stress.
Oh, okay.
Then there's some boxes, and you put them over on the left side under keys. And if they were to get deadlocked, probably won't happen in a game. Who knows? Maybe we'll deadlock a key. If they were to get deadlocked, then you would click on the little star explosion thing. They'd get lined out, and you would change it to whatever it's become deadlocked to. But that's only if bad things happen to us. All good. We're gonna have all good things happen to us.
Oh yeah, totally fine. This is Blades. It's happy fun times all the way around.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and so in terms of hitting them, so they can give you XP, and so if you feel like you have like hit one of those keys at any point, just kind of say so. It's just kind of your own thing, and you get XP. It can also be helpful just to like, sometimes it's like you might just tell the others like, I want to hit this key before you do it, if you know what I mean. Like you can just sort of engineer the little scene or the moment for you to show your character being XYZ and do it that way. Yeah, so that's keys. And what about look and so forth?
Okay, so look, it's very like A-line dresses, mini skirts, dress boots.
Oh,
you know,
perfect.
like kind of like long hair, but like a little bit like, I guess not like a total beehive, but like enough like, closer to the god, closer higher the hair, closer to the god situation where it's like the nice big bump. So like, and makeup, like eyeliner that can like cut a man, like and all that good stuff.
Perfect. Love it. Some great contrast between
your character. So
yeah. Perfect. Cool. I think that's it for character creation. There's some questions we'll go through just to figure out like how you know each other and your background together. But I think it probably makes sense to do crew creation first, because that will provide some context as to like, what are you up to? What are you what kind of criminal enterprise are you involved in?
Oh my God, yeah.
So just up top, there are 6 crew types. They pretty much correspond to the original Blades crews, but with some changes. So the 6 types are the hit squad, which are contract killers, accidents, disappearances, murders, ransom operations. There's the militants, who are kind of revolutionary activists. So assassinations and demonstrations and sabotage and battles. Utopians, who are an esoteric cult working towards a utopian dream. They may start with good intentions, but they're on a dark road just because of the nature of the world it is. So the idea with utopians is that your characters think they're making the world a better place, but inevitably you'll probably end up worshipping a forgotten god or something along those lines.
I just had the best idea of like doing like one of those like, oh man, just eventually playing a character that does like a utopian sort of style, where they're like trying to bring in like we're gonna save the world, and like it's just thinking like all the cult frenzy from this. Oh
yeah. Well, we could do it.
Not now, not with this character, but.
Then there's dealers, pushers who acquire and sell illegal product, which could be drugs or literature or bootleg music or paranormal stuff, artifacts or experiences or any other contraband. The heist team, who are expert thieves who execute elaborate heists of various kinds. And then finally the racers, who are sort of thrill seekers and daredevils. And there's definitely a lot of the smugglers and smuggling in there, but there's also like street races and death races and hijackings and a lot of Fast and the Furious, amongst other things.
Yeah.
Any initial feelings or thoughts? Anything you want to rule out? I know Sean and Karen, you've been playtesting with the heist team. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I
I
would do a non-heist team just because we've been playing it a bunch, but
Mhm.
I don't feel strongly about that. I thought
My only issue with dealers is that, I might consume the products that we're supposed to be dealing
Oh,
to. Like,
I mean, it depends. If we're dealing with like illegal, music or literature, right? It may be less tempting
Yeah.
to consume it, or maybe it is. Maybe we take these old records and listen to them on our own instead of moving them. But yeah, I mean, getting high on your own supply is a classic dealer's story. So that's also not.
I'm just trying to think, like, that fits for me, but I'm trying to figure out like what would fit like for y'all. Like, what would y'all be interested in for these characters?
Karen, are you drawn to any of them?
I mean, I could see us doing militants just in the idea of being activists.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like maybe we could get into that. I if we were to play dealers, I definitely wouldn't want to actually be doing be drug dealers. We could find like other cool things to be kind of smuggling.
Yep.
There's all kinds of cool stuff. I'm kind of drawn towards racers. I feel like hijackings, heart pursuits, Fast and Furious stuff. I didn't really make a character that's built to be a racer. Like I didn't take any dots in finesse, so I'm not like going to be necessarily good. But I could fix cars and things like that if that's where I'm doing it. I like militants as well. I think those two are both pretty appealing. Those both have a lot of grab for me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Militants for Kitty is going to be like.
I mean, that's a real fuck you to dad, right?
Yeah, that's a real like.
Oh my god!
That's a real like dad's an army boy, and I hate the military, and I can 100% see Hollis being, and I mean he's pretty anti-military regardless of whether we're militants or not. Like it's like that's going to be his personal bend. It doesn't have to be what our crew is about, but like he feels pretty burned by the whole experience.
Yeah.
Not just that he wasn't supported, but that we were doing the wrong thing. And so yeah, I think that there's a lot of, I mean, I could totally see why Karen, your hound, might have gotten out of being a journalist if she was exposing things about,
Yeah, that feels like a logical leap, right?
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. I think that we could find a reason to be activists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that good for you, Mo?
I think when you said "fuck you" to dad, I was like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah, right.
Perfect. All right, you type that in. Great. And so you start with 2 stacks in your coffers in tier 0 with stronghold and 0 rep. And the first thing to do, there's some militant specific stuff, and maybe we'll get to that after we do the sort of some of the general stuff. So the or should we do the militant stuff first? Let me quickly bring up the militant.
Do we all add it in our crew area, or is it one person fixing?
There's one shared sheet. You should all. Yeah, if you bring up that crew sheet under the
if you look under characters, there's one called crew.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
I didn't know if I had
sheet
to add it in myself, or if someone else adds it and then we all get it.
Yeah, we all get it. I'm putting stuff in right now, but if you ever have any bits,
if you want to be, you touch it. I don't can't stop. I don't want to screw things up.
Okay.
So I think we should start with the militant specific thing, because that's going to flow through to everything else, which is the militants, instead of hunting grounds, they have a cause and they choose 2 enemies of the cause. And it says here it can help to sort of start by defining your cause, at least loosely, which could be sort of general civil rights or anti-imperialism, anti-war, anti-military, anti-hulls, which are the kind of robot slaves, for lack of a better kind of descriptor, freedom from sort of blue coat police brutality, economic justice, workers' rights, anything really. But I guess I feel like it would be good if you're going to play militants to have a bit of an understanding of what you are, militant activists.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the
talking
Imperial
about being,
military is an obvious choice.
yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
War would be like one of our first choices, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do that for
that
sure.
feels like that's like go for the obvious one. Low hanging
Mhm.
fruit, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So in that case, you're going to choose 2 enemies of the cause. There are some ideas here, but I feel like the military is a pretty obvious one.
hmm
So let's put the
Yeah.
Imperial military, who I think are tier 6. So that's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a good place to go after. Do we have a lower tier, not tier 6? So I think a lot of things are sort of emblematic of the military, including the palace, which is sort of it's the intelligence agency. It's also a high tier faction. Um, uh,
The
I do feel like the
Ministry of
palace.
Stability could be
Yep.
what's that say again?
the Ministry of Stability.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, so the palace is kind of the CIA MI6 kind of equivalent. So that's definitely part of the imperialist kind of war effort. But yeah, the Ministry of Stability is the more sort of internal propagandistic, like they control food and transport and put up a lot of propaganda posters and that kind of thing.
Right. Just because it's sort of low-hanging fruit in this setting as well, one of the other real horror and atrocities of this setting is criminals having their souls ripped out and shoved into machines where their memories are drained, and this being called reform. So even though it's not strictly part of the military, or at least it isn't yet, the Lusk Reform Clinic is the clinic that makes hulls out of criminals. And that's a big theme of the setting, is the hull, is hulls being there. So that's another one. If we want to kind of, it's not strictly in line with the military, but it's another thing that's like a huge disparity happening in the world that everyone is aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit Clockwork Orange, I guess. Sort of.
Mo, what are you feeling?
Oh, I do. I mean, because what if they eventually use holes in the military? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They're already threatening to replace blue coats with hulls, so it's not a big step to move.
And blue coats are just like military, but like on a lower level.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they're the police, right?
It's a spectrum, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is we can always say "fuck the police" and have pick blue coats. That's another.
I mean, we can hate all of these groups. It's just which ones
yeah. You almost certainly hate all of these groups.
Yeah. I think maybe hitting less reform clinics just so we can like try to, I don't know if we'll be able to quote unquote stop it, but like having our eye on them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's also quite good because that's a much lower tier faction, and it's a sort of a prototype procedure in clinics that, like, stopping the military is a much harder goal than stopping this.
I think either Kitty and I think any three of us, maybe all three of us, have separately found out that there is plans, whether this is true or not. There are plans to make military hulls. I mean, why wouldn't there be?
And Cross could have found it out just through doing
investigative journalism, right?
Yeah.
I could overheard Dad saying something to like.
Yeah.
Did
Kitty find it out and leak it to Cross, or?
Yeah, or like link it to Hollis and be like, "Oh my God, did you hear what happened?"
So this is great. So from our perspective, this is the pipeline, right? Like the military is a huge target we can't hit, but the hulls are going to be their next soldiers. And so maybe because that's a little bit more prototypey, less set in stone, we can actually make a difference there. So this isn't two different targets. This is the way we think we're going to hurt the military is by stopping the Lusk Reform Clinic. I like that a lot. That feels like, it doesn't feel like we're like splitting our efforts. It feels like we're focusing on where we can make a difference.
And I think that's our next question, is like a preferred operations. Because I was reading ahead and we're talking about that. Sabotage.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's what I'm thinking too.
Perfect. Yeah. So you can do any of these, and you'll do other stuff as well because you're a crew and you need money. So you might do other things for money, like, I mean, all the crews can do all the stuff, right? So sometimes you'll do a little heist or whatever, and it doesn't all have to be sabotage all the time.
Yeah, but it's our preferred operation.
Exactly, yeah. So you get a little bonus when you do a preferred operation against one of the enemies of the cause. So if the target is the military or the Lusk Reform Clinic, and you're doing some sabotage, you get some bonuses.
Yeah.
Great, that's awesome. I feel like that tells us a lot. So we'll jump back into regular crew creation. So the next thing to do is to choose a reputation. You get XP for your reputation, but you can change it at any time. So it's a pretty kind of low pressure decision, but it tells us a little bit about how you operate and how people perceive you. The options in the book are ambitious, flashy, daring, honorable, ruthless, professional, calculating, freewheeling, subtle, eccentric, loyal, deceptive, stubborn, menacing, strategic, relentless, tenacious, or groovy. Or you can make up your own. Those are some
I feel
options.
like we would actually have a negative reputation based off of all of us being disappointments. I think like dishonorable as opposed to honorable. I think like dishonorable or like untrustworthy or like enemies of the state. Like I feel like it wouldn't be like, yeah, these guys are great. The people who know about us are like, they're trouble. Like they're problem.
And I think that's why Kitty goes by Kitty, because like if someone found out like she's daughter of like this military man,
yeah.
Love that. So what are you going to put? What's then in one word?
I want to advocate for dishonorable, but I'm
happy to do. I like it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Great.
That's great. So just as a reminder, to get the XP for that, you want to act in a way that bolsters your reputation as dishonorable. I mean, you also get XP for developing a new reputation. So if you do other stuff, that's fine too. But great. Okay, let's talk about your base. We could talk about what kind of base you have, or we could talk about where it is to begin with. Those are the kind of the two things to go over. So some ideas for what it is here, like it could be an abandoned department store or an underground like bunker complex, a gloomy warehouse on the docks, or the floors above or below a lounge bar or a nightclub. It could be a decrepit mansion that someone inherited. Could be like a junkyard or an auto shop.
So I was thinking if I did private eye stuff, I probably had an office. Could that have been kind of become our de facto base?
Would you want that linked to your like? Is that like where your legit job is, or are you not really like do journalism anymore?
I'm not a journalist anymore. That this was an office when I like was trying to be a private eye.
Yeah.
Which technically I still am, but I'm not taking any clients.
Right. You're not.
But I still have an office
anymore. Yeah, I like that. I was trying to think of which of us would have connections to a location. I don't think I do. I
think I have like connections, but they're like very like loose and like not like solid.
Yeah.
Like I know everybody, but I don't really like know everybody. You know, like I'm just like, oh yeah, that's so and so. Oh, I don't know what his wife's name is.
Yeah.
I don't know where he lives.
This is the kind of connection that you could be like, and now I have a permanent location to work out of. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
It feels to me like this list is encouraging us to place that office sort of somewhere in the center of other activity. So like an office above a saloon or an office, something like
above like a food stand.
Yeah, because base flare makes it sound like we've got
there's room to expand, right?
Like a whole ass building, which is.
Do we want to be close to either our vice purveyors? Do we like the idea of being either like, well, no, because your office wouldn't necessarily be next to your vice purveyor. There's not really any connection to that.
Could be. I mean, it could be just coincidentally.
It could just coincidental, yeah. So we could choose Groove Factory or Iron Works. Karen, what's yours? Iron
something. It's a gym.
Cross. Iron weightlifting. Yeah. Do we like the idea of putting an office in the same building as one of those, or does that feel forced?
It feels a little forced.
Maybe nearby, maybe in the same neighborhood.
I quite like the food angle, like a restaurant or a takeaway shop or a fast food sort of thing. Or
above a restaurant would be fun.
Yeah, let's put it above a restaurant. That sounds great. And then when we figure out what district we're in, that'll help flavor.
That'll flavor it for sure.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. And is the vibe of this office, because you're a private eye, is it like Venetian blinds and rotating fan above that kind of stuff? Or
Yeah,
what's the
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very noir.
Yeah.
You've got like the frosted glass door, like
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
chip, like a little paint sign on it that
It's
says
broken all the time.
now it's just like a piece of cardboard or a piece of wood, just sort of like just hanging
I'm
there.
remembering the early seasons of Angel where he like operated out of a detective's office before it like, got burned down. I don't think it's the same vibe, but like
Oh, I was thinking like Jessica Jones, like
yeah,
Yeah.
Jessica Jones. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was also her apartment. Like she lived in that space as well.
Yeah. Well,
Perfect.
we may have the option to do that ourselves if we.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that is definitely an option.
quick
I
question
think
for
if this
Tim.
office is so run down, then like there's probably other empty offices around that you can kind of expand into.
Yeah.
Tim, quick question: is this Roll20 available for playtesting? Like the whole,
Yep.
Someone's asking in chat. So
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the
Yeah,
sheets
I
are.
replied. Yeah.
oh, did you?
I haven't put the animated backgrounds anywhere, but that's yeah, that's a possibility.
Okay.
Oh, the animated background. Sorry. Yeah, the animated background is not. I apologize, but the character sheets are. So that is, and we will have a full Roll20 deployment once the game is done. But for playtesting, we just have the character sheets right now.
Yep.
Neat.
Cool. Speaking of base flare, the next thing to choose is I think we should circle back on what that restaurant is and a bit more about that. Oh, yeah, let's decide where it is. Actually, that's a good question.
Yeah. What part of Dustfall? And this is really gonna determine a lot of like where we I mean, we don't have hunting grounds like a normal like most crews do, but it's still kind of wherever you are is where you're going to have the most kind of impact or be most affected.
Yeah, there's like a thing called local trouble as well in this game. So there will be like stuff going on locally. You're sort of tied into your local community a little bit.
By the way, this food menu on what page is this?
Do you want to check?
Oh yeah.
93 is so good. It's so good.
What page is it on?
193.
There's a fake family restaurant called Chuckleberries. Shout outs to my player Kerry, who played a Hull and he decided it was a family restaurant animatronic and came up with the name Chuckleberries.
Oh,
so
like
that's why-
Five Nights at Freddy's? Oh.
Yeah. So that's why I had to do a fake menu for Chuckleberries Fine Family Restaurant. The next page is a couple more pages.
There it is.
Oh, one more.
Oh, you're in the wrong version of the document there, I think.
Oh.
Sean. That's right. It's not. Oh, there it is. Nice.
There we go. 193. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fried rat rings, mushroom soup with crackers and butter, curly fries. I mean, come on. Why would we not just take this? This is great. Let's be above.
We're above
Chuckleberries.
Is Chuckleberries a chain?
Yeah, it's
I
chain.
know.
Yep.
Oh, it is chain. Okay.
Yep.
Well, if we decide to be above Chuckleberries, it's in, according to this, it's in Crowfoot.
Well, that's one franchise. So I think there's a
What's one
Chuckleberries in most districts. So you can choose
okay.
anywhere. Do you have the Gazette there, Sean? Maybe we could just flick through the districts.
I do have the Gazette. One moment.
It's also in Roll20 if you want to bring it up there, but up to you, whatever's easier. There you go. If you flick to the end, there's and all the districts are at the end in a sort of summary form.
Oh, they're at the end.
I didn't flip through this yet.
There we go.
Yeah. So I guess maybe a place to start is it a fancy district or a rundown district or somewhere in between?
I don't think it's a fancy district. I don't think we're fancy people.
Oh my god, look at that art for Barrelcleft. I love the signs. Sorry, this is the first time I leaned on. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm drawn towards the Lusk Reform works out of Dunslow, I think. Is that correct?
That's right.
And so I think that's a possible choice. It's where the prison is. It's where Ironhook Prison is as well. So there's a lot of bad things that happen in Dunslow, and so operating there could make sense. But if it's an office that Cross had, we might be in a nicer part of town.
Nice-ish. Ish.
I have a suggestion. Night
Yeah.
market.
Ooh, night market's got a lot of.
It's gonna be busy. It's gonna be bustling. It's gonna have a lot of people. Have a lot of like food. A lot of like things that are happening.
There's a lot of food. There's definitely a Chuckleberries there.
Definitely a
That's true.
So maybe it's just like that loud, like inner city sort of like style of like.
I like that.
Yeah, let's go with that.
That's good for the
fun.
noir vibe because there's a lot of neon. So you got the
Yeah.
blinds with the neon
Yeah,
inside.
got the sign that's in front of my window.
Yeah, that blinks on and off. Yeah, perfect. Great. Yeah, I love that. Night market. All right. So after that is base flare. So you choose 2 pieces of flare that you have available in your base. They don't have any direct mechanical effect, but they kind of take place in unwind scenes, and it's just good to know like what is nice about your base. So some ideas, maybe you have a bar or a conversation pit with a nice share carpet, a discotheque, a sauna, professional kitchen, a dining room, library, cinema, swimming pool, aquarium. Obviously some of these don't fit like shabby offices above a restaurant, but
Yeah.
I know we won't have it, but conversation pit with shag carpet is just so good.
I mean, eventually we can knock out walls and buy
Yeah, for sure.
more
I
rooms
think a
on the
conversation
floor.
with the shag carpet is 100% the kind of thing like
strike
yes,
for.
most of the sabotage, but some of the sabotage is 100% knocking off thing, like knocking off shipments, or like, oh, looks like they were gonna have some carpet installed. Looks like we get some carpet instead. So I think if you want a conversation pit with a shag carpet,
No, I just love it. That's a future us thing that we
Okay.
upgrade. We
You're
upgrade
not
to
there yet.
that.
So-
But if we have a bar card at least.
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I think
There's
the
definitely a bar.
Sorry.
Sorry. What were you going to say, Sean?
I think the communication hub with telephones, radios, and pause vision sets may be a way that we could kind of monitor what's happening and stay appraised of things. That
feels
like,
very militant-y.
yeah, like the kind of like that's our hub of intel.
I guess it also, I mean, it is kind of a front business because it's Cross's
Yeah.
office. So it does serve as a front.
Is it still? It still is a front business. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think technically she still has it as a business.
Great. Yeah, let's
she's
do
just
that.
not taking new clients.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so front business, which is the private eye office, and the communication hub.
Sure.
Is
You
that
can
okay?
still have
or is
you can still have the drinks trolley. It doesn't have to be a full bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Is that? Do you normally put the base flare in the base?
Just
field,
put
or-
it in the notes, I reckon.
Okay.
Put it in the notes field. Yeah.
Base flare. What is the office? It's a private investigator's office.
Yeah.
And then
Cross investigations.
love it.
Hey, I love that.
Don't want to cross you.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh, but
Cool. I've got the base flare in. Yeah.
And the next step is your ward boss. So I was just looking through the faction list, and I think your ward boss is the Golden Hand
Yes, please.
here in
Alright.
Night Market. So they are a criminal syndicate who are kind of high tech, and they used a lot of hulls.
We're very
And,
against holes, though, aren't we?
That's true. That's true. Maybe that's not such a good angle. I think Scorpion Syndicate. Let's go with Scorpion Syndicate. So they are high tier smuggling faction. So I think that makes sense for like a commercial district like Night Market. They're pretty slick. Yeah, and they run operations in Night Market. So even though you're not, I mean, they're sort of smugglers and involved in drugs, and you're not, but even to do any criminal activity in Night Market, you have to pay up to them. So you will pay a tithe to them on your scores, or you can choose not to and piss them off, and we'll see where that goes. So the initial question for them is, you've just started operating as militants. Obviously, you've had this office for a while. You have 2 stacks currently. Do you want to give them 1 stack in exchange for them letting you do your militant activities in this district? which will kind of let you fly under the radar. Do you want to pay them 2 stacks as a show of respect, and you'll get +1 status with them? Or do you want to keep your money, not give them any money, and take -1 status with the Scorpion Syndicate?
Pay
they're
more.
tier 4. So we're deciding what our faction status is going to be with our boss and with the tier 4 crew.
Mhm.
Not that has to affect our choices, but are we going to pay them their dues, or tell them to fuck off and invite trouble?
I think we pay our dues.
Yeah, I was like, I'm all for trouble. Maybe I choose my trouble. Like,
Yeah, these aren't the ones we want trouble with.
yeah,
All right, so I think we're paying 1 stack so that we don't have negative status with them.
Yep.
Cool. Unless we want to pay a 2nd stack so that we're at +1. But I will say there will be another opportunity to spend stacks for faction status in a second. We're gonna have other factions that we
Yeah, there's other ways to use that money during crew creation. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so you sort of pay the minimum and keep the relationship level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. Next up is choosing a special ability. So if you look at the sheet there are a bunch of options. Again, you could go versatile and pick from another crew. But there are various options there, like sympathizers, which give you bonuses with the local citizenry of Nightmarket in this case. So they become allies to you, and they'll give you shelter, a place to hide, and redirect blue coats and stuff like that.
That makes a lot of sense for us, I think, as based on what we do. But
I guess the downside to that is that obviously that would be the people of Nightmarket, so it would only help with scores in Nightmarket.
Right. Which we may not be doing a lot of our scores in Nightmarket itself.
There's mutual aid, which kind of lets you lift up allied factions and work on their long-term projects and stuff. So if there's a faction you really want to kind of get across the line, that can help with that. Guerrillas lets you target high-tier factions more effectively, so you get bonuses to the engagement roll and bonus rep, which could help against, got the military as the enemy, so that could help.
Yeah.
On the side of the oppressed, which lets each wanted level count as turf, so that's quite useful. Commitment, which means you've all sworn vows and you get bonuses to resistance rolls, quite powerful.
Very.
I like on the side of the oppressed or commitment. Those both seem cool.
On the side of the oppressed won't do us any good yet because we're not wanted, but it's a cool ability.
Let's take commitment then, since it'll probably come up.
Yeah.
Quicker.
Guerrillas will also come up for sure, because even Lusk, who were like, oh, it's lower tier, they're still tier 3. We're tier 0. So
That's true.
It's still, we're always going to be going off against way higher. So I think I like commitment. It's a very strong one, but Guerrillas I think also would be useful to us.
Yeah, those are both good.
Mo, do you have a preference?
I like gorillas. I also my brain went to benefactor. I don't know why. Like someone's like helping fund our like little like
Your
sabotage ring. My dad who's the military and
you're just stealing money from him. He doesn't know he's a benefactor.
Yeah.
But there's a question saying, why do they help you?
That is a good one.
Know that they're helping you. Yeah, it's a powerful move.
I would say maybe that's a bit better, like a little bit further down the track, because it helps you tear up, which you're not quite ready to do yet.
Because there are other factions that agree with us, and they could eventually become our benefactors. But I sort of would want to earn that, I guess.
So let's do gorillas.
Let's take gorillas then.
Cool. Yeah, we'll use it immediately.
You will. Perfect. Okay, the next thing is upgrades. So you get to choose. So you start with a couple. So as militants, and we should detail this in a moment, but you start with a cohort of muscle because you're tier 0. That'll be like 2 people.
Nice.
But you have a couple of like fellow militants who we haven't talked about, who can help you on scores, or even they can go do scores themselves while you're busy on the other score. So we should talk about who those are in a moment. But so you have that to begin with, and you also have prowess training. So I don't know if that is like crosses gym membership or what that involves. But
We got a weight room in the. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. You go to iron weightlifting. Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
yeah, maybe even in there. So
Well,
you have
if
that.
I'm super into working out, then I probably have a little home gym too.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
I go to the gym to like get in the ring with other people. But then
Yeah, of course.
definitely have the cool, like punching bag that I punch when I'm angry.
Yeah.
So you work out at home, but you go to the gym for the boxing.
Yeah.
I like
I love
that.
it. But yeah,
yeah. So
access to that gym. I love it.
Yep. So then you pick 2 more upgrades. Those are all the little boxes, sort of middle column, top of the sheet. It's quite a few there. I guess the crew specific ones are like elite muscle is quite a good one. So you've got this muscle already, but so if they're elite, they roll an extra die by default.
Yeah, if we want to use our muscle cohort, we don't have to. But if we like the idea of using these NPCs to do stuff, elite muscle is normally it would take 2 upgrades to make something elite, and because we're the militants, we kind of get a discount on that. So this is a very efficient upgrade for us to take if we like the idea of them being of them you basically being better, and so that's one thing I think is worth considering. It would be immediately useful to us.
I like that
because when they try to do things, they roll your crew tier, which is 0. So they're going to be rolling 0 dice and taking the lowest to do most things, which isn't particularly useful to begin with. So if they're elite, they get to roll one die, which is which is good. It's 50-50 odds.
Yeah.
So would this be like Hollises and Crosses, like contacts that are like more militant and stuff, or?
I mean, these people are a member of your crew, so they are like fully sworn in.
Yeah, but they could have been one of our previous contacts. It could be somebody.
100%,
yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, how like cool are they? Because like if it's like one of my people, like, yeah, I just brought them from college, like.
I mean,
but you could have friends who are activists and protesters that you're like, go set up and block this street.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They'll be my contacts to do like college protests.
I think that's very solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Muscle is heavies, brawlers, and thugs, but like, I think
What's runners?
What's that?
What's runners?
Runners are drivers, scouts, and couriers.
Oh, okay.
Which would also be cool to get, but we don't have them to start with. Yeah, I think it makes more sense that we'd have student members of our student activists as members than ex-military, but I both make sense. Both I think are strong.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think student. It could be 2 of your biggest friends. They could be muscle.
Yeah,
the students can be muscle.
So are we down with that elite muscle?
Yeah,
sure.
The other thing is that when we have a cohort, we have to choose 1 or 2 edges and as many flaws. They're on page 92.
Yeah, so the edges are fearsome, independent, loyal, resourceful, tenacious, or vigilant. So you could choose 1 or 2 of those, and you choose an equal number of flaws. If you want them to have more edges, they need to have more flaws as well.
Yeah.
There's no kind of mechanics behind that, but if it'll just sort of
the flaws sort of indicate ways in which they might not be able to help us or in fact hinder us. And edges are definitely
if
it's
they're
sort of,
college
it's more fictional,
students, I say hedonistic as a flaw.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
that fits. If we don't want them to be like super, veteran badasses, clumsy might also be.
I like that. It's kind of
like
giving
like
hardened from Scooby-Doo kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if we had military folks, they like know what to do, but these are just literally like college students. Like they're
it's a mystery machine.
I
or,
like the
or,
idea.
or panicky, prone to fear or
Or-
anxiety, right? Either any of those kind of make sense as an additional flaw.
I kind of like the idea of hedonistic as a flaw.
Yeah.
Like because they're
Honestly,
partiers.
it kind of fits in with us though, because like our biases
Yeah.
Totally,
are
totally.
in the same line.
I think they should be loyal. I feel like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're very
Hmm.
bought into it. So we
Hmm.
could stick with loyal and hedonistic, or we could pick another edge and another flaw if we want.
Let's stick with that.
Okay.
let's do that.
Loyal hedonists. Perfect.
Great. Yeah, I like that. Keep it simple. And then you get one more crew upgrade. So you could again pick off the crew list, and you could start with so that boat should say van. Sorry, carriage should say van. I'll change that. You could have a van or a boat. Your quarters. I guess they're not hidden, but they could be. You could have lounge and quarters. Which did you choose? You didn't choose the conversation per day, but you could still have lounge and quarters. Which means you get to add another piece of flair to the base, and whenever you unwind, which is something you do at the end of each score, you all clear all level 1 harm. So that's quite useful. What's some other interesting ones?
It's funny. I press the down arrow for the details on van, and it says we have a carriage and 2 goats.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. I'm
perhaps
going to change that right now.
Yeah.
Needs to be updated.
So
I
instead of
do
horsepower,
like
you go
the
power.
idea.
Yeah, stick van.
You have a sick
Serrano go
van.
power.
I like
Not
the
worth
idea of having a van.
That is
Definitely like a Volkswagen.
I also love that too, because we were finally get a break from each other, so we go away to separate places and sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think van sounds great.
That feels right. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. I think when we get it at this level, a van is we have a transport autopod big enough for the whole crew and their gear, and if we soup it up in the future, it can have armor and a bigger engine. So
Nice.
there's upgrades that can be done to the van in the future.
So is this Cross's van as well, or is this Hollis's?
It's not mine.
I think Hollis brought it. I think Hollis.
Oh yeah,
bought
because
it.
you're a mechanic. Hollis is a
I'm a
mechanic.
mechanic.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your
Exactly.
baby.
I think I fixed it up out of a junkyard, and I think I have a probably misplaced emotional attachment to this van that I should have for humans that I instead have for an inanimate object.
Is
Oh
it-
my God, what's the
oh my-
name of the van? You got to
No, I would love to know the name.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, I think her name is Charisse.
Charisse. Oh my god, yes. Is she like patchy? Does she have a nice good coat on her? Like, is she like?
I mean, I think I literally built her out of a junkyard. I don't.
She's
think,
got like mismatched doors.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
very mismatched.
Oh, I love that.
But whenever I can, Charisse is, improved. Yeah.
Is it SHERISE?
I like the
That's-
idea that she runs great, but she's the most embarrassing looking ride. If
Yeah,
you're trying to impress
is-
anybody,
That
you
is
would
very true. Yeah.
not with this.
She really
Kitty's gonna be
does
like this
the
whole
leading
time while she's
job.
in it. Just be like,
We've been watching Outer Banks, which is not a show I would necessarily recommend, but they drive around this VW bus that is so beat to shit, and she
Yeah.
is not that beat to hell, but she definitely.
Oh, what's the name? They call it the Twinkie.
They call it
That's
the
name of
Twinkie,
their van.
That reminds me, actually, something we forgot to go over with Kitty was so just like the veteran has some special stuff and the hound has a pet, the swingers actually starts with their own luxury autopod. So you have like a 2-seater car.
oh, do I?
Oh yeah, you've got your own sweet ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
You
has.
got your own
their-
sweet ride, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Where's this
Hollis
other
has the crappy van, but you have a sweet ride. So it's squeezed in under the cohort on the right hand column.
Oh, the
above
the fine
context.
2-seat autopod.
Fine 2-seat autopod. That's right.
Oh, it's
So you
Oh,
could think about what that looks like. I mean, the main decision to make up top is whether it is built for racing, which means it's extra fast, or impressing, which just means it looks really cool and it will help you impress people. Or surprising, which means it have some unspecified hidden gadgets,
Oh,
Bond
God.
style, like it can drop, ball bearings.
I think Kitty's so vain. Like she just loves being impressing. Like, so I
Yeah.
think we're gonna like it looks it's like a cherry red
Oh, love it.
sort of like
Mhm.
autopod convertible situation. Yeah.
When we need to look good, we take Kitty's ride. When we need to take the whole crew and our cohorts, we take Cherie's.
Yeah, I love that contrast between an impressive sports car and then the worst van you've ever seen.
Yeah,
Oh god, what's my car's name called?
yeah. You can type the name right here.
Oh
Just-
my god, I can name it. Oh, okay, I gotta think on this. I gotta think of
Yeah, you can come back to it later.
yeah.
And
There's
it is a
also some
co.
bits- There's a style, so there's like options like velvet seat, velvet leather upholstery, some other details there if you want to. Cherry
Oh,
red.
yeah,
is the
definitely-
place to start.
Definitely gonna go with like the velvet seats and
Mm.
like chrome finish and like maybe it has like oh, it was too early for disco. I was gonna say a little disco ball
Oh, the
hanging off
bit-
from
Yeah, I think that's
like
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
hanging off the like the rearview mirror situation.
Nice.
And because it's impressive, again, you can kind of define the details on that as you want to. Like if you want a little, champagne like fold out thing or whatever you need as the situation arises, that can all be folded under that. Whatever
Oh
seems
my
impressive.
God. Okay. I'll think of it.
Cool. And because it is a cohort, it can add dice to your rolls and stuff. It can sort of help you out, just like
Oh my God.
the two.
That's cool.
The two students, the muscle can help out as well. We
Yep.
should give them names at some point, but that's
Yeah, we should name them.
give them a vibe. Great. So the final part of crew upgrades, so you chose a van and the elite.
I kind of like that we each brought something to this crew. Kitty brought two muscle. Cross brought the place, and Hollis brought the
Yeah.
junkiest man. Good flavor, but like we all sort of like have pooled our resources to
Mhm.
Like a true team.
like a true team with no disparities. Everyone values everyone's contributions 100% equally. Charisse is not the ugly duckling of this list.
Of course not. No, we would never say that to your face.
Yeah.
So the next step is to figure out what factions were impacted by those upgrade choices. So the thing I'm kind of curious about is you've got this elite muscle upgrade. What do you think that looks like? Is that equipment that kind of makes them more effective, or is it some training they've had, or is it I don't know. What do you think? Like, what does that elite muscle upgrade represent? What makes them more effective?
Yeah, what makes them elite?
Oh,
I kind
maybe
of don't think it's like training. I think it might be like a physical thing, like weapons or equipment or something like that.
yeah, they're probably also from from families of affluence, so they have access to certain things that
Yeah. I think maybe in a lab or an internship or some other sort of connection that they might have had towards high tech equipment, they nab some shit and might have not taken things. Does that feel right to you, Mo? That they might have pilfered from their parents or
what teenagers pilfering from their parents? That never happens.
Oh, that's perfect, because that's the one I want to be with. Because one of them is affection helped you get that upgrade, and the other one is affection screwed you over when you got that upgrade. So I do want that one to be the screw over.
yeah.
So they make sense for stealing, and I'm gonna say that the faction who that stuff belonged to. Let's bring up the faction list. So Scorpion Syndicate, you're at 0. It's the Palace, I think, the CIA equivalent.
Oh, Jesus.
MI6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they dropped to -2 because your cohort stole the stuff. So you could give them a stack to mollify that and bring it back up to a -1, or you could just leave it.
I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Screw 'em.
Nice. Perfect. Cool. And so the second part of that is one faction helps you get an upgrade, and you're going to get a status bump with them. I don't have a strong feeling about that, but I kind of feel like because it's your van, which faction do you want to like? Who did you get the van off? Is I guess the question.
Oh yeah. And
this is going to kind of give you a friendly faction right off the jump. So maybe they're ideologically aligned, perhaps, or
Yeah. Red Torque is I mean, they're in our game. They've come up in our game, but they feel like a faction that might make sense as allies here. They're a tight-knit gang of elite racing drivers that use their skills for criminal ends, ambitious, angry, and fast. They feel like they could be a potential. Or the leatherback. I'm going both towards mechanics. The leatherbacks, rough and rowdy auto cycle racers, a youth subculture as much as a gang, named for their ubiquitous, colorful leather jackets. That's probably a better fit. The leatherbacks feel like
those are both
Yeah.
good vehicle ones. The other ones I'd maybe put forward is like the Burn Corps, which is sort of the Black Panther equivalent. Not from a vehicle point of view, but from a sort of ideology, like they're sort of anti-military, anti-imperialists.
Yeah, they actually have their shit together more than either the Red Torque or the Leatherbacks. Do we want someone who aligns with us more philosophically, or someone who just has the goods and is kind of like, yeah, fuck the man, but not with any like significant intensity?
The first one.
Yeah, let's do the first one.
Okay, so we go Burn Core.
Awesome. So they go to +1 because they helped you get the vehicle. They like you. At your option, you can spend 1 stack to repay their kindness, and that would bump it to a +2.
I think that's worth it. The 1 stack we have left in our cash isn't going to do us too much good, and like having the difference of faction status of 1, which is like they'll help us if they don't have to go out of their way, versus 2, which is they will help us even if they have to go out of their way, but doesn't put them in like direct warfare. It's a pretty big difference, I think. Cool.
Yeah.
Yay, Burn.
And I'm just going to put a 0 next to the military, and I need to update this last reform clinic just to show that they're kind of important factions. You're not at negative with them or anything, but obviously as enemies of the cause, I feel like we just want to highlight them a little bit. And then finally choose favorite contact. So there's a list of potential contacts on the crew sheet. So you choose one who's like a close friend or longtime ally or partner in crime. And that's again going to affect the faction choices. Where is that crew sheet? Ooh. So we've got Devrin, a foreign diplomat, Hickling, a union organizer, Eves, a palace handler, which is kind of a funny one given your to the palace. Canik, a Blackthorn Park handler, so they're sort of Scove opposite of the palace, so the other espionage side of the Cold War. So Vata, a student leader, or Castor, a weapons dealer.
I want to make an argument for Eves because I think having an insider in the palace would be hella fucking sweet. To like leak us information they absolutely shouldn't.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Eves.
Yeah, the arrow's gone funny, but I've clicked it.
Oh, how do you click it?
Yeah. I need to fix up the arrows have disappeared for some reason.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so tiny, but yes, Eves is now bolded. Gosh.
So it's one faction is friendly with its contact and you get +1 with them. Do you want to just bump the palace back up to -1? Does that? I mean, that's kind of what you're talking about, right?
Oh,
I mean, I think that's a possibility. Is like,
yeah.
You've both pissed them off, but you have someone on the inside, so maybe that balances out to a -1 instead of a -2 on them.
Okay, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Or if you prefer, we could choose another faction that you have a +1 with if you want to kind of spread around the relationships a bit and get more in the mix here.
Yeah. I think for a 3-shot game, the fewer factions we're entangled with, the better. So
that's true.
I like just keeping it. Oops.
Yeah, keeping it focused.
We looked at it.
You got it? -1 it should be. There you go.
There we go.
One faction is unfriendly with this contact and you get -1 with them. I feel like there has to be an espionage faction given it's the palace.
It's got to be
Blackthorn Park, right?
Blackthorn Park, yeah.
And this puts you in a fun position that you're at -1 with both sides of the spy Cold War.
Both spy, because we're not really advocating for any imperial side. We're not like pro USC. We're not we're not trying to overthrow the crown.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, maybe, but like we're definitely not on the side of any government body, so we're pissing them both off.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only ones we haven't pissed off are Aruvia yet.
Yet.
At your option, these factions you're more concerned, and you take +2 and -2. So that's an option for you. Do you want to? You could bump those to both a +2 and a -2, so that would give you -2 with Blackthorn Park, but a neutral with the Palace if you want to unbalance that a bit. Or you could just leave it a little bit annoyed across the board.
-2.
I mean, essentially that would make Blackthorn Park quite antagonistic and leave you neutral with the Palace.
I'm pretty
I like
happy.
lead. What were you going to say, Sean?
I'm pretty happy as is because the reason why we had negative faction status with the Palace was because we stole from them. So I kind of don't want to like neutralize that. I still want there to be tension there of like you stole our shit. It's okay because this one guy Eves vouches for you, but not so much that like we're happy with you or we're neutral anymore. I think, yeah, I'm sort of inclined to leave them both -1.
Yeah. Give us a drama.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially what we were just talking about, sort of being in the middle. That feels more right than swinging one way or the other. Cool. That is the end of crew creation. The last thing would be to come up with a name, but that's always hard. So we can think about that.
Maybe we think of
you
that.
are militants. Yeah,
During a
we'll think about it during a break, but I don't know if you want to be the something front or the people something, or there's lots of options.
The people something or the something front are good. Are good.
The front of people something.
The people of the front.
The people's front.
The people's front.
Well, if our focus is really hurting the military by way of stopping the whole sort of the holification of people, we could focus on that. We could be, the people's front for Hull independence or something like that, and like PFOHI. No, that's terrible.
PFOHI.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Have a little think about that. Do you want to take a? There's also a character and crew question, so either we take a break now and come back to that. Or
I think it'd be great if we take a break, then do those questions, and then jump right into the score.
I like that.
Okay.
All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us for character creation. We're going to take 5, and you should do the same. Take care of yourself. Have a drink of water. Take care of your bodies. And we'll be back in 5 to finish off this and jump into the score. See you.